The Valve Steam Deck has possibly got to be one of the greatest things I've ever bought in gaming, and it is something that I've been using basically every single day since I got it. It's basically transformed the entire gaming experience for me, and I've been playing and completing more and more and more games basically constantly since I grabbed the thing. However, it has one major thorn in its side, and its thorn can be a benefit as well depending who you ask, which is it's a Linux-based operating system. That's what it runs by default. So, of course, any video games that have anti-cheat, well, they sometimes don't work very well, and it's an absolute nightmare. And it's one of those weird cases where I'm finding that game compatibility in Linux in general is rising more and more and more, but games involving anti-cheat in Linux, well, I'm finding that the compatibility of that is going down. And it's been a really major thorn in my side, especially when I'm trying to play these games. I'm trying to jump on with my friends, and I can't jump on with my friends because they're playing the latest Call of Duty, for example. And I can't join them because, well, I don't have access to Call of Duty on the Steam Deck. Well, when I'm not home anyway. I have a Windows PC when I'm home that I can play, but you know, most of the time I'm not home. I'm always out and about, and I need a way to play them. So Call of Duty came out, Black Ops 6, and I think for me that has been the straw that broke the camel's back, and finally got me to try to install Windows on the Steam Deck, so that I can basically play, well, anything that I want without having to worry about compatibility in any way, shape, or form. And the experience so far has been very, very, very mixed. So, to begin with, SteamOS, the Linux distribution that Steam Deck runs by default, is very, very much tailor-made for the Steam Deck. It's very much tailor-made for the handheld, so all of the UI is easy to navigate, everything is easy to navigate on the actual handheld itself. Windows, well, Windows is not really optimized for this sort of thing in any way, shape, or form, so that kind of gave me issue number one of running Windows on the Steam Deck. Navigating it and using it in general has been an absolute bloody nightmare. Absolute bloody nightmare. And then on top of that, the gamepad, because of the controls and all that on the Steam Deck, are using this proprietary system that, like, it's not registered as an Xbox controller in Windows. Unfortunately, that means, well, most of the games I try to play will not register the gamepad unless I am absolutely running them through Steam. And it causes a lot of issues. So I spent about 3 days trying to sort out all my problems and getting everything working. I've installed Playnite, which is an all-in-one launcher that's like couples all of my games across all of my platforms into one unified library. And I started hunting down ways to basically make the gamepad playable on everything that I can. And to start off with, it worked out pretty well. I used a piece of software called Handheld Companion, which did a really good job at translating the controls, essentially, into an Xbox controller. And for like a day or so, everything seemed really super smooth. I was using the Handheld Companion, and I was playing everything I could play, no problem for the most part. You know, I was playing GTA San Andreas, which ran perfectly fine, and even the so-called Call of Duty, which got me to transfer over in the first place. However, it was an absolute nightmare when I tried to play Fortnite. So for some reason, the software has a major bug in which if I'm playing Fortnite and only Fortnite, well, my controls go absolutely haywire and the game became unplayable. I have absolutely no clue what's wrong with this game and this application whatsoever, but it drove me mad. So I had to basically abandon the idea of using Handheld Companion, which, To be fair, I did have a workaround in mind. So from that point onwards, I decided, hey, let's add everything to Steam and just run everything through Steam, because Steam itself has its own built-in input manager type dealio, and it does recognize the Steam Deck controls. So I tried that, and that also worked. That worked for Fortnite. It worked for every game except Call of Duty. Because unfortunately, Call of Duty is a Game Pass game, and Steam input, for some reason I have absolutely no idea why, just does not work on Game Pass. And because of this, I ended up just having to keep constantly swapping out my control scheme. Constantly, I had to keep installing and uninstalling things. I tried using global Steam input, which just did not work in the slightest. I tried so many things, but I could never get the controls to work on every single game. And it drove me mad. It made me pull my hair out. But fortunately, our friend Reddit is to the rescue. And thanks to this one Reddit post I found from about a month ago, by the Reddit post by Herod808, talking about the same issue I had with Fortnite, someone replied saying that Handheld Companion actually does work, however, not the recent builds. I had to switch to version 0.21.4.1 of the software, which is about 3 or 4 months old now, in order to fix Fortnite, and I honestly drove me mad. I could not believe this. God bless these people on Reddit, because if it weren't for these, I would have no idea how to get this working. So I tried this out, downloaded that version of Handheld Companion instead, so downgraded it, and lo and behold, it worked. Every single game I've thrown at it so far runs perfectly. Every single game controls properly, and apart from the general jank that using Windows comes with, it's now become a very, very playable experience. And honestly, I'm actually quite surprised at how well Call of Duty even runs on this thing, because, it's a brand new game. I was kind of expecting it to not run at all, but, granted, it doesn't look the best. I did have to lob everything onto low settings, and in order to keep things stable, I did lock the frame rate to 30, but it's more than playable. Absolutely more than playable. And honestly, I'm probably going to stick with Windows on the Steam Deck for now, because I don't have to worry about compatibility with it. That's the main thing. But when people ask me whether they should use Windows on the Steam Deck, it's a very cautious, it depends. Because getting it set up, getting everything to actually work, and then even when things are working, navigating Windows is a nightmare. It is not built for a handheld. So it's one of those really annoying situations where it's like, it's worth it if you can put up with the stress of Windows being a nightmare. It's one of them situations. And if anyone's wondering, the gameplay in the background of this video is actually my footage from Call of Duty when I was playing it on the Steam Deck, so you can actually see what the game looks like, and it runs perfectly fine. It's more than playable. But yeah, it's one of those situations where it's like, if you want to use Windows on the Steam Deck, I recommend it, but only if you know what you're doing, and it's not for the faint of heart, let me tell you that. It's a jank, it's a nightmare, it's an absolute pain. It took me like 3 days to get everything sorted, so everything just works. But fortunately, I've now finally gotten to that point. So now, for me, I'm glad I can play Call of Duty, I can play Fortnite, I can play whatever the hell I feel like. And I'm happy. So, yeah. All in all, it's worth trying, but only if you absolutely know what you're doing. And it's a pain. Microsoft really needs to make like a handheld mode for these devices, because these handhelds are becoming more and more common. Windows-based versions are more and more common than the Linux-based, and we need to get some I guess, some kind of system in place. So these are just universally accepted, by companies on basically, we need to make a way so that everything just works. How that's gonna happen, I have no idea. Can that even happen? I have no idea, because Windows 11 is a fickle beast. So we'll just have to see. For now, the community is to the rescue as always, and yeah, I'm glad that Reddit exists. That's all I'm gonna say. But there we go. With that, that's my ramble over and done with. Thanks for watching, folks, and I shall see you again. Bye!